Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with the bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So it's time for one of my favorite videos.
Holiday romances.
No, breeding! Which then makes your holidays more expensive because then you have kids. But, oh, a good breeding trope. So we're going to do that. But first, I had to make sure that Jeff wasn't giving me a weird look. But first, because every time I mention breeding, he runs away like I actually have a uterus still or something, and like it could actually happen. But he can't.
I was reading a book. Funny enough, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but I was reading a book that has some breeding, and he's like, I want to keep you pregnant for the next 10 years. And I'm like, that sounds horrible.
It sounds like a nightmare. Like, it's all fun and games until someone actually gets pregnant. I mean,
Could you imagine like 10 kids in 10 years?
I had 3 kids in 4 years, and that was a nightmare. I mean, I love my babies, don't get me wrong, but it was a lot at one time because the first 2 were only 16 months apart. It was like having twins. It was just, I don't remember a lot from when my youngest was a baby because I got postpartum depression so bad from having baby 1, then baby 2 right away, just boom, boom. So just sad. Don't do that. Okay, that wasn't planned, by the way. But let's jump into breeding. But before we do that, you've got some stuff to talk about.
Well, we would love it if you're new here, if you'd hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on all of our exciting videos. And like our video and comment below. What are your thoughts on this trope? Is this a book recommendation video you like us doing? Is it trope like a no-go for you when it's in there? Or is this something that you maybe don't seek out, but when you find it, you're like, oh, cool. Let us know. Talk to us in the comments.
Yeah, down there. All right, well, let's get this party started with Lilith Vincent because she can do some breeding. She always does, whether that has she has the birth control tampering and the breeding.
She can write the breeding.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, so the first book I have is Soft Tissue Damage by Lilith Vincent. This is her newest release that came out this year. This is the second book in her Deadly Heart series. This one comes after Fear Me, Love Me. It's in the Fear Me, Love Me world. We see some of those characters, but it can be read as a standalone. So this is about Elena and Cullen. Elena she's been raised by her 2 aunts. We're going to put quotation marks around that. And these women are horrible. And now that she's out of school, she's working 2 to 3 full-time jobs, trying to pay them back for their generosity of raising her when her mother gave her up. And by that, I mean, they're forcing her to pay back every dime they spent on her whole life as they've raised her, which is just horrible women. And so she's working at a diner.
In this economy, they might be onto something.
Let me go talk to my kids. But true. But she's working at this diner. It's one of a couple of places that she works at, and that is where she meets Cullen. Her shoe was untied one night. He is there with the hero from Fear Me, Love Me, and they're talking about a job because Cullen has a security company. And he notices her right away. He knows she looks a lot younger than him, but he sees that her shoe is untied, so he gets out and ties her shoe, and then they have their cute little meet cute. Well, then a few minutes later, his son comes in and sits down at the table, and that is where Elena realizes that this guy that she had a moment with when he was tying her shoe is the father to her boyfriend who has come in the diner. And he's a single dad, the Cullen is. He has a little girl as well. He's divorced, and he's got this thing for Elena, obviously, from the get-go, and he decides that he's going to hire her on as a nighttime nanny for his daughter in order to keep her around. And that might actually fall into a full-time nanny position. There might be some birth control tampering because she's a virgin and she doesn't really want to have sex, but Cullen's son is trying to push her, so she gets on birth control, and he might swap that out for something else. And then obviously there's some breeding going on. But I love this book. Lilith Vincent can write a crazy obsessed hero, and it's age gap. It's the whole thing. It's all taboo. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. I'm waiting for audio. When audio comes out, which I haven't seen anything about audio, typically her audio comes out a little while later. I will be listening to it when the audio comes out because dang. I'm a part of her Patreon. I haven't seen her say anything about that recently. So.
All right. Well, my first book is called Wellbred.
All right.
By A. Anders. So in this we have Kit. Kit is going through a really nasty divorce and her ex is just a cheating ass. And all she's ever wanted was to be a mom. And she's running her family's bar and she just really wants to have a baby. So she's been thinking that she's going to take some money and go and do it the sperm bank way. And about this time, Jake shows up in her bar. He's an ex-con. He knows her brother, and he's been sent there just to kind of check up on her. Well, she is in desperate need of a chef, and it turns out when he was in prison, he learned how to do a lot of cooking like that, and so he feels like he's kind of qualified for a chef. I think his family also owned a restaurant or something. So I might have those details slightly mixed up there. Anyway, he takes the chef position there, and then he finds out that she's really desperate to have a baby, so he agrees to father said child with understanding that he'll be moving on and not having like a role in this kid's life, like simply he's going to be the donor. But she has a lot of rules on how this is going to work, and they're going to do it the old-fashioned way. And let's just say all of those rules are going to go out the window.
Okay. All right.
The breeding is going to come in the window.
Let the breeding commence.
I don't know.
It was horrible.
Yes, there we go.
There you go. All right. Well, my next book is another mafia or darker. So, yep, mafia. They always fit so well with those books. I don't know why, but it just does.
Yes, those mafia men like to breed.
I like to keep them knocked up, that's for sure. Okay, so this is Sweetest Sin by Nikki Ash. This book is book 1 in her Tempting Love series. So far, I think this is the only book out in the series because I would have read the rest had it been out. But this is about Dominic. He is our mafia boy, and he is in an arranged engagement at this point in time, and he is not happy about it. He's trying to find a way out of it. And while he's doing all of that, he has to fly somewhere for reasons I can't remember what they were, but he's got to fly, and he does not like to fly commercial. So apparently he is better than the rest of us. And he takes a private jet everywhere, but his brother was using the private jet, so he actually has to fly commercial. And that is where he meets our heroine, who is Peyton, and she is our little redhead, I think she was a redhead, little redhead flight attendant. And they hit it off. And he sees her a few more times. He actually chooses to fly commercial home so that he can hopefully see her again, because it's a short flight, and he knows her schedule because we finagle our way in like that when we're mafia men. And they end up having a weekend away when she has to fly to the Dominican Republic. After 24 hours, after a night there, she wakes up and he's not there. So they have this fling, and then she doesn't see him for another 4 years. And when she sees him again, he has decided that he is going to lock that down now that he's found it. There's also other things that come up, but the way you lock it down is you get it knocked up again. So anyhow, this is a secret baby situation. And yeah. I mean, you got that fingers work. There's breeding going on. And where'd the fiance go? So that's like a whole thing too. So.
Well, speaking of mafia and breeding, we would not have a breeding video if we didn't have a book by BJ Alpha in here.
Every dang time. Thank you, BJ, for fulfilling my fantasies. Okay.
So I have a lot that I could use for this one, but I picked Domination, which again, by BJ Alpha. This is Daddy Vinny's story. So Vinny is the dad to several of the guys in the Mafia Daddy series who are older, they're not like kids. They have their own stories. So he is not as old as Rocco, his youngest son, would like to make him out to be. He loves to do jokes and like really just pick on his dad about him being old, but he's really not that ancient. Anyway, so Vinny has quite the night with this woman who shows up for one of their parties, and then she just kind of vanishes on him. And then one day she shows back up with a child. And it's his step granddaughter. And that seems really weird, but this book is really, really good. And so it is very taboo, and there's a lot of breeding in there. I love the relationship that Vinny has with his sons, especially with Rocco. It is hilarious. But there's also some really, really good plot to this because Gracie, this grand stepdaughter, is there to be under his protection. And her dad, who's Vinny's stepson, we don't really see him a lot. We just know he's kind of a fuck up. And he's really just not a good person. And so Vinny has got to kind of figure out what the hell's going on in some of these areas. But then there's also this weird possessiveness that he's feeling towards Gracie and her child. And maybe some math needs to be done to figure some stuff out. I loved it. It was really good. Breeding is always strong in her books. And apparently
Always.
it puts
Well,
Jessica to sleep.
I can think of one or two that doesn't have, but typically, yes.
You need some, well, in the Mafia Daddies series.
Mafia Daddy series, 100%. And the majority, like all of her Secrets and Lies, I think they all have it. Yes, they do. I can only think of
Storm series does too, doesn't it? Yeah.
Not really in Mace's book.
It's mentioned a few times.
It is. It's just not as strong as the other ones because he's scared of having a baby. So it's not as, but it is. BJ she just, you know what? I like to pretend that she writes for me personally. And she just pulls all my favorite tropes out and goes, okay, what are we going to write for Jessica next?
I'm going to message her and suggest a holiday book. Actually,
she
that
has
could
some.
be really fun.
She does have one. She has one with the Secrets and Lies guys.
I think she needs one for the Storm series.
I think she does. Some crossovers.
That would be hilarious.
Be great.
Read.
Yeah.
Reread.
Reread. Yeah. Okay. So the next book that I have is Beautiful Torment by Aza Raleigh. I was so excited to see that Aza Raleigh had a new release this year. She's been through some stuff over the last few years, and so she hasn't been writing as much, but hopefully this means that she's back. But this is about Abella and Angelo. This is the first book in her Empire of Kings series. It is Mafia, Stalker as well. But this is about Abella. She was engaged to Angelo when she was young. And something happens and Angelo takes the fall for it. And he is put in prison, and he has been in prison for 6 years. She really wanted to marry Angelo. She really liked Angelo a lot. They had a thing back in the day, and she really wanted to marry him. But when all this happened, she's being forced to marry Angelo's brother. Well, now all of a sudden she's got this stalker situation happening, and she's really not that mad about it. Let's be honest. She's actually kind of as excited as I would be to have a stalker. And so, she's not really telling anybody. She's not doing anything about it. And on her wedding day to Angela's brother, she might get kidnapped because Angelo might be out of prison and she's not aware of it. And let the breeding commence when he takes her, because that's what we do. So. Yep. My fingers won't work. I don't know that I like this new button.
Okay. So next I have Sire by Kelly Finley. And Sire is pastor, but we'll just say that maybe he isn't your typical pastor, because we'll just leave it at that. So we have Sire. Sire and his brothers are working towards rescuing some women from human trafficking. And so they're trying to bust up, the human trafficking rings. They're rescuing these women. And one of the women they rescue is Ren. And Ren has some secrets in her past, and she is very attracted to Sire and wants to stay with him. And so one of the brothers basically drops her off on Sire's doorstep at the church and was like, she wants to stay with you. And so Sire agrees to this a little reluctantly because, he's trying to uphold this his pastorness, I guess, but he really struggles in that area because he has a pretty big breeding kink, and that works. He he is not particular about, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. He's not particular, like he's leading a double life, I guess is what I should say. Like, he doesn't want his parishioners to know this side of him, but he's not doing it like in the like it's secretive, but it's not secretive. Does this make sense? I feel like I'm
Sure.
rambling.
It's all good.
Anyway, so they are spending time together. They start to fall for each other. And Sire, again, has this pretty breeding kink that's going to come out. And again, Ren has secrets and things are going to get dicey. There we go. I butchered that. I'm so sorry, people. The breeding kink is really heavy in there. I was trying to say, like, it's not something like he's hiding, like, you know, or ashamed. I guess what I'm trying to say, he's not ashamed of it, but he doesn't want to advertise it since he's a pastor.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I was trying to say.
Okay. All right. Well,
just read it.
Read it. Also, pastorally, that's quite the word. Let's ask Dad if that's a word when we see him.
Well, I don't think your dad would approve of anything from that book.
I don't think that knowing my parents, and as randy as they are, I think a breeding kink is the least of our worries when it comes to them. So,
as randy as they are, do you know what randy means?
Parents are randy. They're kinky as hell. Anyhow, I get it honestly. Okay, so the next book that I have is Burned for Me by...
I thought you were going with the fact that your parents, never mind. I thought you were going in a different direction.
No. What were you going to think? What were you thinking?
I was thinking of flashbacks to when we were in high school and your dad freaked out on us for listening to the Wallflowers. He like went on this rampage about how it was the dumbest music, and we're like, this is just the Wallflowers.
But that's a different side. When it comes to him and my mom, him and my mom, they crazy for each other. So are my grandparents. Grandpa still chases grandma around the Christian Island with the
enough, my ears.
Okay. Anyhow, it's great. Healthy relationships. So my next book is Burn for Me
we
by...
don't need to know about.
It's all good. Burn for Me by Effie Campbell. We've got no shame here. They're married. Burn for Me by Effie Campbell. So this is the one that I have that has the breeding kink that doesn't actually result in a baby. Nobody wants a baby in this one. They just have a breeding kink. And so they like the act of it without the consequences. And so this is about Laura and Phoenix. So Phoenix was in a fire when he was young, and it burned his face to the point that he just has like a small hole on the side of his mouth where he can put a straw in and drink his Ensure to make sure that he hold on, everybody can see this. Good gravy. Okay, so he has a hole in the side of his mouth where he can put in a straw to drink his meals basically, but everything else is like his face is kind of melty. It's melty. And because of this fire thing, like he sets fires for the mafia. So he will clean up a situation for the mafia. And he does that by he makes his own accelerant and he will burn the place down and get rid of any evidence. And so he gets a call one day that they're from this mafia guy. He's on his way home from doing a job and he obviously doesn't talk because he can't. But this guy calls him and says, I have a job for you. And he's reluctant to take it, but the money's so good, he decides to go and do it. When he gets to the house, the mafia guy is there and he tells him, you know, we've killed who we're going to kill. This family's gone. You need to burn the house down. And so he checks on the bodies. And when he goes upstairs, that is where he finds Laura. She is the daughter to this guy who really ticked off the mafia. And she's been injured. And so he fakes her death for her and he takes her on a road trip to his house. And this is their story. There's a lot that goes into it, but let's just say he does have a breeding kink. He just doesn't want the baby. So there's a lot of breeding, even though she's like on birth control. So that's what it is.
Sire's a little bit like that too.
Yeah. Okay. I personally like when there's actual pregnancy from it, but I know not everybody does. So.
Well, I think Sire kind of goes through some character development.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. So it also would not be a breeding video without
Daisy.
without Daisy Jane.
Daisy
So
Jane.
I have Raleigh 2 for you. So in this, we have Ember. Ember is in a bank. Riker's in this bank. Riker's son has been battling a drug addiction, and so Riker's there trying to get some money for his son as a last ditch effort to try and fix the situation that has been going on for years. And so they're both in this bank, and the bank gets robbed. They're held at gunpoint. It's a pretty life altering, changing moment for the two of them, and they kind of bond. And there's a little bit of chemistry and spark there. And then the SWAT team comes in, they're separated, and they don't see each other again. And Riker has thought through the last couple of years about Ember, but they never exchanged last names or anything, so he has really no way of finding out who she was. And then one day, this woman shows up on their doorstep. And when I say their doorstep, Riker has an identical twin brother, River, that they live together and they like to share. And this is taboo in that sense, but the brothers don't do anything other than share. Like, just want to point that out. We're not on the K Webster level here in this one. So Riker and River have Ember on their doorstep, and Ember is sharing some pretty shocking news to the two of them. And let's just say that's not going to be the only time she's going to show up with some shocking news. And so here we have X's dad and uncle. We have lactation. We have the breeding kink is really strong in this one, but you also have a lot of plot in this. And I always appreciate Daisy Jane because her books, while having those kinks, always have some plot. And there's some pretty emotional things that happen in this book.
Okay. Wow. Speaking of K Webster, my last book is going to be this trilogy from K, which is Psyop Kings. So, because she got some breeding in this one. The breeding for this really happens more in book 2 than it does in book 1. We do see a little bit in book 3 and towards the end of book 1, but more in book 2. Just so you guys know, you do need to read these in order. It is a trilogy. It is the same story throughout all 3 books. Christy just writes hers pretty small. This doesn't normally go too far over 200 pages in each of her books, but so this is about Romy. Romy is looking for a friend of hers in college. So she's got this friend that was like a study partner, and she has gone missing. And Romy starts off by telling you that she can't trust her own mind. She is the daughter of, so I think it was like a senator or something, somebody pretty high up. And she is trying to use those connections to find this girl because they're telling her at the college that she dropped out of school, or, you know, like there's all these things. And she's like, this is not adding up because I know that this girl came from nothing and she was making something of herself, and she wouldn't have just walked away from it. And so she keeps pushing and pushing and pushing until she gets abducted by these 3 brothers. And one of them is Caius. He finds her in their house. They work with the CUP program, which is this program that reprograms your brain. And they use it for elite members of society to get them girlfriends. They really they scramble everything and they give you a clean slate and you start all over again. Or these elite people will do it to their kids to make them forget certain things that happen, or, you know, crazy things like that. And so she is brought in to this mansion where these guys live. Caius comes and tells her, I'm your boyfriend. We've been together for years. And she doesn't know what to believe. She's pretty sure that that is not the case, and she has to just play along with it, but she just doesn't know. So this is very like psychological, you know, suspenseful. You're questioning everything from the get-go, like really what is happening here. But there is breeding in it. There's quite a bit of breeding in it, and I like that. So it was great. It was a great trilogy.
Sounds like that's something I need to read.
I think you would really like it, knowing what you like. And the audio's out now for all 3 books, so worth it.
Okay.
Okay.
So my last one is going to be In Her Shadows by Lila Rain. this has like lots of things. We have obsessed, we have stalker, we have the praise king, birth control tampering, and of course there's quite a bit of breeding, especially if there's birth control tampering happening. So we have Eloise. Eloise has kind of had some pretty horrific things happen to her in her life. So she has some big trust issues with men. And she's a little frustrated with herself that she hasn't been able to get past that. And her date ends pretty abruptly. He doesn't end up coming up. They're already on date 5. They still haven't kissed or anything like that. And so she starts drinking some tequila and decides she's going to go to a nearby club by herself. So she starts walking that way, gets sick, and passes out in an alley. But lucky for her, she has a stalker who watches her every move, who knows everything that's going on. Like, he probably knows more about her than she knows about herself. And Ren, that's Ren. And so when Ren finds her passed out, he grabs her, takes her home, and basically takes care of her. And so then she wakes up, and even though there's a strange man in her house, she has these like she's never let a man into her space before like this, she feels oddly at ease with him. And so she's going to start to kind of fall for her stalker. Ren is going to go to all sorts of lengths to make sure that he gets to keep her this time, because he is literally obsessed with her. So that's where some birth control tampering comes in. And he is also very obsessed with breeding her. But somebody is not happy about something that's going on, and there's some danger elements and something that's happening. And so there is going to be a little bit of twist in this one as well. But the breeding is strong in this one.
Okay.
I don't know how to end that.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. There's 10 more breeding kink books, tropes, romances. I don't know what to call it. It's a micro trope. It really is. But we do have a couple other videos. So this will be in that playlist. So go ahead and go find that playlist. It's a very odd playlist to create, but we're here for it. So there you go.
They're very popular.
They are very, I love it. I really do. And I seriously, Jeff, like if I even mention it, he's like, no. I'm like, you can't actually get me pregnant, right?
Oh my gosh.
Such a freak. Anyhow, okay, wrap this up.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. We would love for you to stick around. So if you've not subscribed, we would love for you to do that. And make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and sometimes Wednesdays.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.